Good morning, guys. Welcome to Tyler's Talking Sports. So it's either Monday morning or it's Thursday morning because we drop 2 episodes weekly at 6 a.m. Monday morning and Thursday morning. Monday morning's episode will be called Off the Record, where we talk about a little bit of everything. We just sit back, two guys talking about sports. My name is Tyler Hess. On the other side of the mic, you're going to hear from my brother from another mother, Tyler Castle. We talk sports. We're going to become your favorite sports podcast. You're going to want to listen to us. But Mondays, we have Off the Record. Thursday morning is where you find out what's getting ready to happen this upcoming Saturday in college football. We go over the biggest matchups, who's going to win the Heisman, who we think is going to win. We also talk about the local games here in Southwest Virginia and East Tennessee. So we're so glad to have you guys, but do us one favor. It's one itty-bitty favor. If you don't care, whatever it is you're listening on, because, guys, we on everything. We on all major podcasting platforms, and we're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook. So be sure you hit that follow button. Be sure you follow us, subscribe to us, do whatever you can. Every little bit helps, guys, and we appreciate everything. We're doing this for you guys, and we hope you fall in love with us. Love us or hate us, we feel like you're going to come back. Thank you, guys. Enjoy this episode.
This episode is brought to you by Next Level Fitness Club in Lebanon, Virginia. 1806 East Main Street, Lebanon, Virginia, 24266. They are a 24/7 gym facility, 24/7 tanning. They also offer certified personal training and certified functional fitness classes to fit all needs. If you're in the market for a gym membership, this is a great place to hit up. Hit up Ethan, Tyler, or Jordan at any of their numbers, and check out their website at www.nextlevelfitnessclub276.com.
This episode is brought to you by Little's Lawn Care. Little's Lawn Care is the all-you-need lawn care people. You need your yard mowed. You need your leaves blowed out of your yard. You need your gutters cleaned out. Contact Little's Lawn Care at 276-698-5104. Again, that number is 276-698-5104. You can text them and you can call him. His name is Brandon Little. He's an incredible person, and be sure you let him know that Tyler sent you.
And we live, Season 2, Episode 32, Hostile Environments. Happy Monday morning to all you beautiful people out there. If you're just now tuning in, this is Tyler's Talking Sports. On the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Hess, and myself, Tyler Castle, bringing you Tyler's Talking Sports. Everyone have a good weekend? Did you have a good weekend, Hess?
I had an absolute blast. It was a great weekend. A lot of fun time with the family, fun times with you. Got to do some podcast stuff. It was real great. College football playoff started Friday. That was exciting to watch. Sit back and see playoff games of college football this early is pretty awesome. What about you?
It was pretty great, man. It was pretty electrical. It was pretty electric. Oh, I have to cut that out. No, I'm kidding. Leave it. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. I'm a little tired. As y'all know, we record on Sundays. We did an epic live on Saturday. Y'all absolutely crushed it coming in there with the comments. How many comments we have? It's 300 and some comments, something like that. 327 comments, 41 likes, 14 shares, 2.5K views, live views. That means that was actually happening. I think we're right near 3K right now on total views, which is incredible. We are currently 39 followers off 1.3K on Facebook, which is incredible for us since we just started back about 4 months ago.
Yep.
Up almost 1,000 followers in 4 months. So guys, y'all have been crushing it. We really do appreciate y'all. Wanted to give a shout out to Warren and Bailey for the star donations on our live on Saturday night. Thank you all for that. That does not go unnoticed. Everything that we receive for the podcast in stars or monetization, anything like that we get, it all goes back into the podcast. So we're just trying to do the best we can for you all and wouldn't do it without you all. So
absolutely. Thank you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anything else you wanted to talk about on the live, man?
Oh, live was great. I mean, just everybody coming in. We held about 16 to 20 viewers pretty consistently.
That was another
there.
thing. We broke our previous record. We hit 24 live viewers.
Yep, it was pretty awesome. Record. We held all the way to the end. We still had up in the teens with viewers all the way to the very end, even though the game didn't go the way we were wanted to as far as content, but kind of a snooze fest for a game. But
yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, that was been the playoffs. It's been this first round. So, and hey, shout out to Indiana having the least amount point differential of any team so far it's played. So people that said they didn't belong,
maybe they did. Yeah. I mean, one thing about that, I'm glad you brought that up, and we'll just go right into it. This first round of playoffs, I mean, a big thing that a lot of people have talked about, and you can definitely see it on the scoreboard, is home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
How big is home field advantage in this first round? What do you think? Do you think there needs to be a change with the committee, or do you think they will keep it home field advantage? Or
Oh, it'll stay home field advantage.
It'll
I think
stay
it needs to
home
be.
field
I
advantage.
think it needs to be expanded. I mean, perfect world, the only neutral site should be the national championship.
Absolutely. So you think all the way until
Oh,
the
yeah.
national championship, but they won't get away from that because you have the Rose Bowl and some of these traditions and a lot of money there for those
Mhm.
bowls. So I don't think they'll get away from that, but I do like that idea. I think that would make it even better.
Oh yeah, because now you got these teams that the four that had to buy, they don't get to play at home. They gotta travel neutral site, and I mean, look at Texas. I mean, that's a team we're talking about could win a national championship. They got a big home game in front of their home crowd, get hyped up one last time this season. I just think definitely that second round, they need to figure out maybe a way to get maybe do the first 4 games neutral site, and then award those teams that get that first round bye with the home game. Maybe flip it.
Yeah, I think if you do get that bye, you should get the home field advantage. I mean, because you made it into the final 4 spots,
right?
Or the last first 4 spots. I think they should get some type of advantage because obviously you can see that home field advantage does help. Now, do I think the home teams were better? Absolutely. There's no denying that those games were absolute beatdowns. We didn't get one good game in the first round of playoff.
Clemson Texas game was pretty good.
Decent. I mean, Texas took over. I mean, they won. They
points,
covered the spread. I mean, they covered the spread. They did what they're supposed to. Everybody else covered spreads. I mean, it was not even close to this. I wanted like it's coming down this last drive to kick a field goal to win the game. Like
you take away the last touchdown Texas scored. They were only up 7. So
that's true. It was 31-24. I know when I was coming to your house, it was 24-10.
Yeah.
That's why Texas always should take the points whenever they're that close. I did not like some of those calls by Steve Sarkisian. But yeah, let's get into that here in just a second. But before we get into moving in on the playoffs and what happened on this weekend, I wanted to let everyone know we're just having one episode this week. So of course, Monday morning, you all are getting us today. Of course, Thursday is going to be day after Christmas. So we wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yep, Merry Christmas.
So hopefully everyone has all their shopping done, wrapping done. I know we're still wrapping a little bit. Got all my gifts finished up last week, so let's get on that. But yeah, wanted to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thank you all for being here. We love y'all, and the support has been awesome so far. I'm going to keep saying that probably throughout the new year. Big things coming for the new year. Hess and I have talked about potentially going to a basketball game coming up in January, so maybe we might get some tickets to that. Tennessee might actually show up for that game, hopefully. So if we end up going to that one, that would be a good one. But yeah, a lot of good stuff in the way. Guys, let us know too. We're probably going to put up a poll or something on the next live. We don't know which game to do because we do have some good bowl games or playoff games coming up. So we're going to try to do another live. You all absolutely crushed it, so it makes me want to do another. And I don't know if you want to tell them this, Hess, but we unlocked where you can run ads now.
Yeah, there will be ads on some of our lives and stuff, guys.
So we unlocked that.
If you see ads pop up, that's generated. It just generates a little bit of pocket change for us just to continue on putting, like you said, putting the money toward the podcast and these tickets to these games we're going to. Again, I want to reiterate, we talked about it live last night in the last episode. Again, shout out to Lee from App State for the tickets to the Oregon State game next year.
Yes.
So appreciate that. I'm going to consider it a Christmas gift, and I appreciate that, Lee. So if you listen, again, for the 900th time, thank you, Lee. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, absolutely. Lee's awesome. 2025 is going to be a banger year. Hess and I are going to try to at least hit 4 games, as you all have seen. I really want to hit West Virginia, where they got Rich Rod back. I think that would be an electric place to go to. Try to hit up some local games too. Hess and I didn't get time to get some of these local teams this previous season rather. So I might try to hit up Wise, ETSU, Emory. Know we got some connections there at some of those schools. So yeah, we'll see what we can do, guys. Let us know where you want us to go. We'll definitely have polls going out all in the off season leading up to these games. Hess and I have a better understanding of what to do when we get at these places or how to try to coordinate this and get content and get media for you all. So we're getting better at it. Hopefully we are. We think we are. Hopefully you all can see that the growth of this channel has just been incredible.
2025 is going to be huge.
It's going to be big, man. Big. Huge. Oh, like old Hugh last night.
Yeah.
Man, you ready to get into it?
I am, man. Been waiting.
Man. He's ready. He's ready. That was a fast one. That was a fast transition.
I liked it.
I want a little bit slower one. There it is. That's the one I like. A lot of controversy on the playoff. We had a lot of messages on Saturday about the playoff, how it's 12 teams, and a lot of people saying these aren't the best 12 teams based off the the first round. A lot of shade thrown at SMU and Indiana. I've seen a lot of that. A lot of Bama fans, specifically Bama fans, are upset about the Bama missing the 12-team playoff. My question to you is, should the committee make some changes on the 12-team playoff going into next year?
I mean, yeah, I think that's the consensus. I mean, we want the 12 best teams, but we had the same argument when we had 4 teams. We want the 4 best teams, and we always lean toward the power conferences. Like, we automatically say, the SEC is the most dominant. Well, they're proving that they're not. The team that's been dominating the SEC all year, Texas, struggled with a 16th ranked ACC school that had to win a conference championship to make it in. I know you say Texas dominated, but Clemson was in that game the entire time. They Klubnik outplayed Ewers. Clemson looked like they belonged. So we're sitting here bragging about the SEC. You look on the other side of it, Tennessee has been world beaters as far as the defense. They had no sacks. First time under Heupel, they've not had a single sack. They gave up over 500 yards. It's the most they've given up since Butch Jones was there. The SEC looked horrendous. The ACC, SMU shouldn't have been there. Realistically, they're not a ACC school. They joined, and they ain't even paying any money to be part of the conference. They didn't want none of the royalties from it. They just wanted to be in a Power 5 conference to give them the opportunity to make a playoff, because if you're not, you don't make playoffs. And I think that's the big thing right now is, were these 12 best teams? No, it wasn't. But if Alabama doesn't get curb stomped by 2 6-5 teams, they're in this. So any Alabama fans out there that are whining and complaining and putting stuff up on Facebook saying that we need to be in it, don't get your ass handed to you by Oklahoma, a 6-5 school. Don't get beat by Vandy. They're 6-5. Indiana beats a 6-5 school. SMU beats Vandy. SMU beats Oklahoma. Oklahoma's trash. They finished in the bottom of the SEC in all statistical categories.
Well, the crowd loved that, man. That's going in.
So the only SEC team that I can sit here and say that maybe should have made the playoff that didn't is South Carolina. South Carolina was playing top-notch football. They had a close game against Alabama, which was one of their losses. They lost a close game to LSU. Down the end of the stretch, they were the best SEC team. They played better. They were lights out. That was the only team that had an argument as a 3-loss school that should have been there. But for Bama fans, you just need to shut the door, worry about basketball, worry about your baseball program, and hopefully you find somebody who can control all those recruits you're bringing in. Because right now, Alabama's not Alabama football. Nick Saban says it's not what they stand on. And I'm tired of Alabama should have been. Were they a better team? Absolutely. Alabama is a better team. Alabama should be, just so you guys know, Alabama should be undefeated and should have won the SEC this year with that roster. And you finished 9-3 and lost to 2 6-5 schools. Okay, it was on the road. Okay, Vandy was under construction and only had half their fans, and the fans were 70-30 Alabama, so it was a home game. And Oklahoma, they couldn't beat a wet paper bag this year, and they beat you by 21 points. Stop. If Alabama goes to Notre Dame beats them by 40. If Alabama goes to Penn State wins by 50. It doesn't matter. You didn't belong. You didn't do what you had to do. Are you a better team? Absolutely. But what ifs are like buttholes. Everybody's got one. So stop saying what if. If you're the better team, prove it. Go out there and be the better team. Don't sit here and tell me you're the better team when you have 3 losses and 2 of them are 2 6-5 schools that barely made a bowl game and finished in the bottom of the SEC. So, and here, another thing, if you don't have a miracle catch by Ryan Williams, Alabama's a 4-loss team because they lost to Georgia, because they were up 27 points and allowed Georgia to come all the way back in a quarter and a half.
Yeah, I think that's
and here's the other take. Everybody says Georgia doesn't belong because they got a backup quarterback in it. Just so you know, Carson Beck threw 3 picks in that Alabama game. It was his worst statistical game. So if Carson Beck didn't even do nothing for us to beat you there.
Yeah.
So Alabama fans have no argument. They have no argument whatsoever. South Carolina has an argument. Lane Kiffin can throw in his 2 cents, but he wanted to go to Florida anyway. He's just mad that Ole Miss had a chance to make the playoff and he couldn't go to Florida.
Right. Yeah, I like that take a lot, man. That was good. Y'all get Hess riled up today. Whoo! Yeah, coming in hot with that. Wasn't expecting that. You feel better?
Oh yeah, got it.
Yeah, yeah. How about that? Yeah. Do I think they're better than some of these teams that made it in? Absolutely, it is Alabama. But like you said, Alabama's not the same Alabama that we've seen previously. And also, too, guys, I'm not just saying this, but Tennessee did beat Alabama. I mean, granted, it was a road game, but look how bad Ohio State just whooped up on Tennessee. So, what do you think would have happened if Alabama played Ohio State?
Oh, they wouldn't. They wouldn't have been. Alabama should have been
a
4. Alabama should have been the 4 seed because they're a 3-loss team and they're Alabama. That's the argument Alabama fans give you.
Well, not that they just thought they should have been in the stuff that I've seen.
No, I'm just saying they're
saying
themselves.
like Penn State or somebody. Well, what I've seen, the Big Ten looks pretty dang good.
Well, hopefully that we expand it to 16 next year, and Alabama still misses it because they're ranked 18th. Because honestly, I don't see Alabama doing any better next year than what they did this year.
Maybe.
You're losing Jalen Milroe. You have no quarterback. You have no running back. Ryan Williams is a head case. I mean, he's very immature. We'll see what happens. The real wide receiver is a freshman, showed out last night in that Ohio State game.
Yeah, he balled out. He did really good. We'll get into that here in just a second. But that's your take. You're saying South Carolina should, if anybody's going to be in, you're saying South Carolina should have been in, is what I'm hearing. I like that a lot. Do I think the committee got it right based off the rules? Yes. I think they got it right for the first year. Guys, remember, this is the first year of the playoff, 12-team playoff. So going to be some changes. I think there should be some changes. They really need to clarify, in my opinion, does it come down to strength of schedule or does it come to overall wins?
It comes down to if it don't matter who you play. It comes down to if you win. Win your football games. I don't care if you schedule cupcakes. I don't schedule if you schedule the toughest schedule. Win your football games. If you're a good football team, you find a way to win no matter who you're playing. So let's stop talking about, we played the best competition or we played a bunch of
Well, I'm just saying that's where they're coming from. It's based off strength of schedule. That's what they're saying. Like, you didn't play the same strength of schedule. So I mean, I'm just trying to tell you what they're saying, man.
I mean, tough crap. You decided to be SEC homers, and here you are.
My thing with that is, too, though, talking about the SEC, I mean, I've seen some comments on this, and I think they put it best, like, you're in the SEC, you're supposed to be the best conference, right? I mean, money-wise and everything. I mean, you're supposed to be top dog. You get the best recruits. You get the 5 stars. You get all the transfer portal. I mean, you get everything that you could possibly want for a football team to build around you. You have, boosters. You have everything you need to be a great football team. So when it comes down to strength of schedule, you should be that team.
Here's my thing with the SEC. You know how we all know SEC's overrated and overhyped?
It's overrated this year.
We let a Big 12 school come in and dominate the SEC all year long.
Yeah.
If the SEC's so good when Oklahoma and Texas joined, both of them should have been in the bottom. Because if this would have been last year, we would have said, it's Texas. They played in the Big 12. They didn't play an SEC schedule. Well, they came into the SEC and made it look like they were playing an ACC or an American
championship first year.
Yeah. So
and gave Georgia a run for the money. So
the whole conference dominance. SEC's not there.
I don't know. Not there this year. I'll tell you that. I don't think it'll be an SEC school to win it this year. I don't.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think the SEC is what it's cracked up to be because if you really look at it, it's the same schools every year for the SEC making it all the way. It's not Tennessee. It's not Mississippi State. It's not Auburn. It's Alabama. It's Georgia. Every year. If the SEC is so good, then these other teams will be competing for it. It's not. It's a top-heavy conference with a mid-tier middle and a very weak bottom.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Guys, let us know your thoughts on the 12-team playoff. What changes need to happen? Does there need to be any changes? Do you like the way it is currently? What needs to happen? Let us know. We'll reach out to the committee.
Yeah, we'll talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, let's recap a little bit on these playoff games. I'll try to calm Hess down a little bit here. He's still riled up. I can feel it. The energy is hot. Indiana versus Notre Dame. First playoff game. In this game, we saw the longest rushing touchdown, 98 yards by Jeremiah Love.
In playoff history.
Yeah, that was incredible. I think that right there sparked Notre Dame. Also, too, the turnovers from Indiana didn't help.
I'm going to tell you what sparked Notre Dame. It was that environment.
Yeah, that environment was insane.
That was incredible for a Friday night, blistering cold.
Was absolutely hilarious.
I mean, it was awesome. I was sitting here watching that game right over here, and I was like, man, I'm getting on board this Notre Dame. This fan base, the coach. I mean, Hamilton was killing it coaching. Riley Leonard playing good. I mean, it was, to me, honestly,
the Irish music playing, man.
yeah, that was great. I love that. I love the Irish music playing. To me, I mean, right now, just looking, when we watched all the games, the playoff games this weekend. Out of every playoff game I watched, Notre Dame's up there. They're
defensively. I think they're one of the best.
I mean, that rushing attack's pretty good too. They got a two-headed monster. You got Riley Leonard can rush on, and then they got like 3 running backs. I mean, Indiana, I think, again, guys, they wasn't supposed to be here. They was not even supposed to be 11-1. And I'm not saying they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs. They did what they had to do. They were projected to finish last and have 2 wins this year. They won 11 games.
Pretty impressive.
And they only lost to Ohio State by 11. If I'm not mistaken,
something like that.
So to say they don't belong, and then we see what Ohio State did to Tennessee.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, you're gonna say, well, they play each other every year, and they're saying, okay, that's just you're just doing what ifs again. But I think Indiana. I mean, for all these other schools too in this, they've realized what that moment is. Teams like Notre Dame, they expect to be here every year. The fan base expects this. And I think, Indiana they're one of those teams that was just happy to have made it. 11-1, historic season. Greatest season they've ever had in football history.
Yeah.
And they deserve to be there. The moment was too big for them. And, Curtis Rorick, he did the best he could, but they just didn't have much outside of Rorick. The offensive line held good.
Notre Dame was just better.
Notre Dame was just better. They really were. They were the better team. And, even if that game was flipped, even if it was at Indiana, I still think Notre Dame wins that game.
Yeah, like you said, that was the closest. Indiana did have the closest playoff game, first round, lowest
13
point margin. I thought it was 10. It was 27-17. Was it 13?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Notre Dame dominated. How you feeling? I know it's a little ahead of. We're definitely going to dive more into it, but how you feeling Notre Dame playing Georgia?
It's pretty scary, man. Again, I will say here and tell you, I don't think the SEC is. I don't think the SEC has a single top 5 school. I don't think there's a top 5 school in the SEC. If they're a top 10, I'll probably put Georgia, Texas. I'd put Tennessee up there for what they had done. Tennessee would probably be 10th, but they're the bottom of the top 10. And then I just think Notre Dame coming in, they're very well rounded. They remind me a lot of Oregon. Oregon so far this year, they didn't play, but from watching them, Notre Dame reminds me a lot of Oregon. Granted, they got Dylan Gabriel, they got a little bit better passing attack, but as far as defensively, just being all the way around, Notre Dame reminds me a lot of Oregon. They can beat you on offense, but they can also shut you down on defense, and that's what you need in these playoffs. You need to be able to do it on both sides of the ball.
Freeman's a great coach too.
Yeah, and Notre Dame, I think right now, they should be a
little bit sleeper pick.
Yeah, Kirby's going to get Georgia ready, and I'm going to sit here and tell you when we do the pick or whenever we do it that Georgia's going to win. But
Georgia's
if I'm just looking at it here, I really think Notre Dame can beat Georgia. They have it. They have a front four that can stop a run game that Georgia doesn't have. They have a great secondary, and Georgia's got a brand new quarterback coming in. So, not knocking Stockton, but it's different. We've seen what these playoffs are. It's a different environment. It's a different game. Full speed. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot for Georgia. So Notre Dame, and they got that game. They got the nerves out. Georgia's going to come into these next 4, Oregon, Boise State, Arizona State, Georgia. They haven't played yet. They haven't experienced the playoffs. They're going to have nerves starting out. These teams
are getting a neutral site. That'll help.
They are, but these teams that have played, the playoff nerves are gone. They left them in the first quarter of this first game. These other teams, they're going to have it. It's going to be it's going to be there. So, and Georgia, for them, they're a slow starting team.
Yeah, I don't think he was slow start against Notre Dame.
I don't think so. They're going to – could be completely wrong here. Who knows? But, I really think that game's really close, and I think Georgia's going to have their hands full with Notre Dame.
I think they will. I think that'll be a great game. I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be a late game. It's 8:45 kick on that one. So, guys, again, we'll dive more into that a little bit more in depth, of course, as it gets a little closer. They do get a bye week this coming week, so they won't play, so they'll play the following week. Make sure y'all tune in to TTS for updates. We'll keep y'all updated on those games.
That's another thing there, too. These teams that got the bye, they have a month off.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
It was like Kirby said this week with Georgia. They had to practice for both teams because he didn't know who he was going to play. So now they get to spend a week to say, all right, this is who we're playing.
So we're playing, yeah.
So
that's true. You got to look at both offensive, different playbooks, everything.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Another big game that happened this past weekend: SMU versus Penn State. Poor SMU, man. They struggled. You know, Hess and I said Jennings would probably be a Heisman candidate for next year. I still stand by that.
oh yeah,
He just had a rough game. Penn State. That you want to talk about an environment playing
Yeah.
a role? That environment absolutely destroyed SMU in the red zone. Every time they got in the red zone, they struggled. They threw interceptions. I think he had 3 picks in the first half.
He had 2 pick sixes, 3 interceptions. You take away those turnovers, it's a 3-point final.
Yeah, that would have been a really close game. SMU,
It's
in my opinion, they deserve to be in. Honestly,
you take away the 2 pick sixes, SMU's got the ball at the end with a chance to win the game. If Penn State don't score on those pick sixes, you keep the if you can keep the turnovers. If Jennings still throws 3 interceptions, SMU has a chance to win at the end of that game.
Yeah, their defense was there.
It was there. The environment was a lot. Jennings was trying to audible check into different things.
They had a false start. I don't know how many false starts they had in the red zone, but it was
they were rattled.
It was like every time they got in the red zone, they false start.
Yeah, that was
so. Talk about environment playing a role. That was probably the biggest environment role I've seen in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So Penn State definitely keeps it rocking. I think they're like top 5 in stadium noise, right?
I think they're number 1, honestly.
Number 1,
consistently.
I'd say they are. I mean, they had a wide out there. It was rocking. I mean, that was the last home game. So
they held to what you have said all year. That defense.
That defense legit.
But their offense, they have a great rushing attack. Rushing attack. But Drew Allar is not.
I mean, he played good. He played what he had to do.
He did, but I think he's the weakest of all the quarterbacks remaining.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I need to see what Stockton's going to do. But
hey,
yeah,
buddy, Stockton gonna be all right. Gonna be Stetson Bennett.
Fun fact about this with Georgia. Me and Hess were talking about this. The last couple times that Georgia has won a national championship, it's always been the second string quarterback, and nobody is talking about that.
Yeah,
everybody's like, "Oh, they're writing Georgia off." Everybody wrote Georgia off before when they had to back up and they won.
2016, Jacob Eason went down. Jake Fromm took over, and then
2019, right?
2019, yeah, and then 2016 was when Kirby got hired. 2019, Jacob Eason went down. Fromm took over, and then 2021.
That's when Beck you're short guy.
Daniels went down with a rotator cuff, and Stetson Bennett took over.
Bennett, yeah, I couldn't think of his name.
JT Daniels, he went down.
JT Daniels, yeah, he was good. Next man up mentality down there in Georgia, and you're giving your quarterback a month to really prepare. So that's
and another cool thing, I'm not trying to touch much on Georgia. I know we will.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring it up, but that was just
Beck has stayed away. Not because he's not wanting to be part of the team. He's staying away, one, to work on whatever's wrong with the elbow if he needs to have surgery, but he stayed away, so the focus is all on Gunnar Stockton to let him prepare. And he's being there for him in the quarterback room. He's going over film with him, but as far as practice and stuff, Beck's not been around just so the focus is all on Stockton.
I like that a lot, man. I like that. Do you think SMU needed to be in the playoff?
I mean, I really do. I think the environment became too much for him. I think
too big of a moment.
Yeah. It was a huge moment for them, and I mean, they're another one of the teams that nobody really. They went to the ACC, and everybody's like, "Oh, Florida State, Miami." That's who it's going to be.
Yeah, Florida State was great.
Yeah, and I mean, SMU. I mean, they're a great team. That defense is solid. Honestly, they're, as far as money goes, they have the biggest donor. I don't know what the word was they used, but they got the most money coming from donors than any school in college football. It's all that old money over there in SMU. But I think Jennings is a great quarterback. I mean, if anything, these teams like Indiana, SMU, they got a taste of it. And going into next year, if they can build on that.
Yeah, they're going to build on it.
And that's an advantage because some of these teams that haven't been in the playoff, they're going to have to go maybe to Penn State or Ohio State next year or Texas. If that's how it rolls, they're going to be shell-shocked. Mm-hmm. And if you're not a team that's played in a Neyland or in the Big House or in Ohio State or some of these big stadiums before, and you go to that environment,
changes things.
I'll be honest, those playoff games, the crowd, the students, they're done with exams. They're letting loose. They're having a ball. It's Christmas break. That was the most hostile environments I have ever seen in college football, all the way around. But Penn State topped it.
Yeah, Penn State was definitely
it's different. It's different. I mean, we were in Neyland when they broke the record for the loudest sound, and
that was insane.
What we seen this weekend, those environments were
probably
nonstop. Oh yeah, man! It was so consistent. I mean,
could have been the last game, so I get that. I mean, you got a lot of seniors there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it was some of those guys. It was the students. Last home game of the season.
That's what they were saying. That's their final exam.
Yeah, They nailed it.
Absolutely. Yeah, they did. They did a good job. Hats off to Penn State. I do think Penn State does. Looking at now, granted, we don't know how good. I think Boise's good. I really do. Boise barely lost to Oregon. People forgetting about that. I really do think Boise belongs. So I do not think that is an easy game for Penn State.
I don't either.
I think that will come down to the wire. I really do.
I think next round we're going to see a lot closer games. I think the competition
we'll
gets a lot tighter. Teams that have been in the moment, teams that are expecting it. And, I mean, teams like Georgia, Boise, Oregon, Arizona State, they get a neutral site. They don't have to go to these hostile environments.
Yep,
so it's a 50-50 split with fans. But here's the thing. If Boise ends up making a playoff next year, I mean, I know we're reaching next year, and they don't get that advantage. The only reason Boise got a bye is because Clemson won the ACC title. If not, Boise's going to Texas. Or they could have been ranked, if they were ranked higher, they could host a home game. If Boise ever hosts a home game in Boise in late December, that is going to be electric and it's going to be freezing cold.
That's what I was going to say. Don't even just count out the environment. Just don't count out the weather.
Oh, yeah.
I think that played a little bit of role, too, in the game we're getting ready to get into here in a minute. But next game up, anything else you want to touch on that one? SMU, Penn State?
I mean, again, I want to reiterate, SMU belonged. I know they got beat pretty bad, but again, you take away
those turnovers.
You take away those pick sixes, they're in the game.
Yeah.
They can keep the turnovers. They can keep the 3 turnovers. They're still in that game.
Because here's the thing, with SMU, they were moving the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked better as far as moving the ball.
They outgained.
They
up until the fourth quarter. And up until the fourth quarter, they outgained Penn State.
Yeah. They just beat themselves.
Yeah, they did.
And I think the environment, if you put that game at SMU,
probably a different outcome.
It could be a different outcome.
Yeah.
So we'll say what you want.
Hey, hats off to James Franklin and Penn State for preparing and doing what they had to do to get it done, and they're off to the next round, and they're a good team. That defense,
how about the Big Ten right now?
Yeah, the Big Ten, but I mean, Penn State's defense is a national championship built defense.
Absolutely.
That defense can win a national championship
from week 1.
Yeah.
So we said Penn State, they're going to win it. It's going to win it on their defense.
Yeah.
Texas Clemson, another good game here. Hess said this was the best game of the day, which I think after what we'd always seen, it was absolutely. 38-24 ended up being the final. Clemson was close. 31-24 was that close one, and then Texas had a big old 70-yard run for a touchdown to seal it. Yeah. So ended up winning 38-24. Another electric environment. That place was rocking as well. Another tough place to play. They actually had their mascot. They didn't have him for the SEC championship game.
Who wasn't allowed to? Mercedes-Benz wasn't allowed to be. Yeah, by the way, people don't know, Bevo's old name used to be 13-0.
Really?
And then they filled in to put the 13 together, made it a B, and then made it Bevo. I don't know why. I don't know why it was 13-0. I didn't get the context on that, but they were talking about it yesterday. But his name used to be 13-0.
13-0. Is that something to do with Oklahoma? Maybe.
I don't know if it was that, or maybe they had a season the first year. Maybe he was mascot that they went 13-0. I don't know, but they put it together and made Bevo.
That's something good to look up.
Yeah,
kind of want to look that up right now.
Nope,
can't though because we're recording.
That's right.
Anything on Clemson? I mean, this was a rematch with Klubnik coming back. I mean, all these guys have played against each other. Ewers played against them.
If Clemson plays the way they played in that game, especially in that second half all year, Clemson's probably got a first round bye.
Yeah, I agree with that. They came out. I mean, they drove straight down the field, 7-0, hit the silencer, and then it was all Texas. I think 21 straight. Yeah, 21 straight to Texas. So it's 21-7. Texas could have kicked a field goal, make it 24-7. They tried to go for it, and Clemson got the stop, and then that kind of got Clemson back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Dabo. Dabo does know how to get these teams prepared.
Oh, they were prepared very well. They were very prepared.
I do think looking back at it now, SMU and Clemson were the best 2 ACC schools.
Yeah, and I'll even say this about Clemson. I think the big thing yesterday that it was all on Klubnik. It was all on his shoulders. If Clemson would have had that traditional type running back they usually have every year, the running back was a little banged up, and I think the starter was out. Maybe I ain't 100%, but they just they had a run game. That's a different ball game. I think it's a lot closer, and I think Clemson could possibly pull off the upset if they had a decent run game.
I think if that game's at Clemson, I think also too it could have been a lot closer outcome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm telling y'all, I think home field advantage going into
team.
Next year is huge.
I'll say this too: Texas had the worst home field advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against them.
I mean, it was an electric environment, but compared to Notre Dame, Penn State, and Ohio State, yes, it was. Yeah. I agree. It was kind of.
Maybe it's because it was warm. They were comfortable.
Maybe so. I don't know. I mean, Texas defense looked good. I'll tell you that. They did look good. Clemson's definitely improved. That's the Clemson team everyone picked at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So hats off to Dabo. Great season for Clemson coming out from where they were at one point in this season. I'd almost put Clemson up there for Coach of the Year, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Spaghetti gets it, though, easily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Definitely so. Something else I was going to say on that, and I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say something.
About Dabo?
No, you brought up a comment. The ACC automatically gets a bid, right, in the playoff. I know you commented on this. I just want to get your thoughts on this and let our listeners, think about this. Should the ACC get an automatic bid next year based off what you have seen in the playoffs, meaning the ACC has got absolutely dominated?
And, I mean, they have, I mean, they're a Power 4 conference. If you're going to give a Power 4 conference, you got to count them in. I mean, let's hypothetically speak here. Everybody likes to throw out the what ifs. So, what if Florida State isn't garbage this year? What if Miami doesn't lose to Tech or Georgia Tech or Syracuse? What if Clemson doesn't start off slow and actually competes at the beginning of the season? What if North Carolina doesn't lose their starting quarterback? What if Tech actually
done what Tech should have done?
Tech should have done. The ACC looks like one of the most dominant conferences. So, I mean, they deserve an automatic bid. But I think the committee needs to get away from saying, okay, conference champion gets an automatic bid, or they need to get away from making a conference championship game that. I think you need to pull it back just like they do in college basketball. You win a conference championship regular season title, you're in. Yeah. So forget the whole conference championship thing. That one bracket I sent you had breaking down the top 4 schools in each power. But I think you'd have to expand that a little bit more because you got to get these teams like Boise State in there. Because sometimes Boise may beat Penn State. Boise may advance the national title. So if they do and you get them out, you don't allow them to have an opportunity, you lose that. So, but I think that would be the cool thing to do is say your top 4 teams of each conference, set them up, break that your start of your playoff bracket, and then work your way in. So that would be a way to neutralize some of that.
Honestly, that way you have your best 4 from your conferences.
Yep.
But like you said, Boise would be left out. These independent schools would be left out. So maybe you could figure out a way to do that, maybe with the independents and have them in there as well.
You could add 16 teams, do 16 teams, and then the 1 independent and an at-large team plays there in the first round.
There you go. Problem solved.
There we go. Got it.
Fixed it. Committee, listen.
Or
y'all send this to the committee.
Do the top 4 at large. Let's do that. And then there you go. You got it. And then they play each other. And
just like March Madness.
You'll be looking at 20-some teams, which is what the FCS does. I mean, that's a great model. They need to use the BCS format, BCS formula, and then use the bracket style play that the SCS uses.
And with that, it would get away from all these fan bases complaining.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part.
Everybody would have a say, but then you'd have a Vandy team or I don't know, a Virginia Tech team or somebody that finished 5th and said, well, we should have been in, even though we had the same record as a Big Ten school. They didn't play nobody. And that's the big thing. I think that's where a lot of these arguments are coming from is SMU didn't play any of the top 7 schools in ACC. Indiana only played Ohio State. Everybody else they played was in the bottom of the Big Ten. That's where a lot of these arguments are coming from with people. And I think that's another thing we need to get away from is releasing these rankings throughout the season.
Yes.
Keep with the AP poll all the way through, and then once Conference Saturday is over, release the playoff rankings. Then there's no SMU was there and they lost. They should have dropped out.
I think that really hurt them because they had Bama in, and then after the changes there with Clemson, they were like, Bama's out.
If SMU wins that game, Bama makes it.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Clemson is the one that eliminated Alabama.
Yep.
That was the 3-loss school that eliminated Alabama.
Yeah, so Alabama would have played Texas yesterday. Yep.
Yes. And SMU, Boise would have played Texas. SMU would have got the first round bye.
They would have got the first round bye. Okay.
And it would have been Boise, Texas. Alabama would have traveled to Penn State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So it would have been a little bit different switch up.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll never know. That's a what if scenario, guys.
It is.
We could always do what ifs.
Yeah.
What if SMU didn't turn the ball over 3 times?
What if Tennessee actually showed up in Columbus?
God, thank you for bringing it up. Next game on the docket, Tennessee versus Ohio State. Oh, man. That's all I got to say about that. That was a great joke, wasn't it? Tennessee absolutely stayed in Knoxville. They did not travel to Neyland North. They stayed in Neyland South. The team took off all their shirts, try to look tough with the weather at the beginning of the game. That did no good. Just didn't show up on this one. A couple things just want to touch on real quick. Dylan Sampson didn't play the entire game, really.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't even, apparently had a sore hamstring. Don't know how bad it was. Still don't have an update on that. Not going to use that as an excuse, but that does hurt. He did have 44% of touchdowns and offensive touchdowns he had 44% offensive touchdowns for Tennessee this past season. Of course, he had the touchdown record as well, so it does hurt a little bit. But even with that being said, look terrible. Look absolutely terrible. Do I think Ohio State is that good? No. I'm going to say that right now. I think Tennessee is that bad on the road. Tennessee has done this every year under the Heupel era. They have played terrible on the road. Until Tennessee can win a big road game, I don't consider Tennessee a great team. Got to win a road game. Got to win these big road games. We saw it happen with Arkansas. Anytime we travel to Georgia, we lose big. We cannot win at Georgia. We travel to Florida this coming year, probably the same story. You go back a couple years ago, South Carolina, they got blown out 66-31, whatever that was. We've seen this under the Heupel era. Something about traveling and road games for Tennessee, they're a completely different team. Do I think Ohio State was more hungry after coming off the Michigan loss and everybody doubting them? Yes, I think that played a huge role. I think home field advantage played a huge role. But I will say this, I think Tennessee is that bad on the road. So if you're Ohio State going into Oregon, going to be a tough matchup. Maybe I'll be saying something different if Ohio State can beat Oregon. I won't feel as bad, but I don't see it. I'm going to be honest with you. Tennessee just didn't show up.
I'll contradict a little bit what you said. I do think Ohio State's that good. You talk about these road games that Tennessee struggled in; they at least got a pass rush. I think Will Howard got contacted one time. I think James Pierce got a hold of the back of his number one time. Tennessee's had a pass rush in every game they've been in. They've had at least 3 sacks in every game this season. They got none last night. Was Ohio State more hungry? Yes. Was the environment hostile? Absolutely. But I really think Ohio State was that much better. Especially when Dylan Sampson, whatever happened, I don't mean this in a bad way. I really hope he was hurt and wasn't sitting there like, man, we're getting gassed in this and I'm getting beat up and I don't want to hurt my draft stock. Because if that's the case, that I don't want that on my team. But Nico, I know he's a freshman, but at this point he's a sophomore. And he played a year ago in a bowl game at the same time against Clemson and played well.
Played very well.
But he was the worst quarterback statistically this weekend. But I do think he played the best team this weekend. But it proved that.
Also, too, though, I will say he had like no help around him.
Well, I go back to this too. Nico was the least sacked quarterback in the SEC this year.
Yeah,
and he got destroyed yesterday.
Yeah. What, 4 sacks?
I lost count. He took a beating. The offensive line took a beating. Tennessee looked like they didn't belong.
Yeah,
they looked like they were lost. They looked like they were very, very unprepared for that game. And for Ohio State, it was like, I don't know if they just came in and it was like, hey, we're from the SEC. These guys lost to Michigan. It's going to be nothing. I don't know. But it was a very disappointing coaching performance.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very disappointing performance from the leaders of that team. The one injury that I will say affected this game was Peely. I know he's been out. I know he has, but the linebacker core was not there. You have that senior leader there. Things change, but nobody stepped up. James Pierce didn't step up. Dylan Sampson didn't step up. The only player on that team that I consider a leader that actually played good yesterday was Brew McCoy. He stepped up and did what he had to do when the ball came to him. I think he only had like one drop. Honestly, I put this all on Heupel and that coaching staff. That was the most terrible coached game I've seen. They were so much conservative play call. Even when you're down 21 points.
We're throwing a shuffle pass.
You're throwing a shuffle pass. The play calling was horrendous. I don't know if that's, to me, just being outside of it, that looks like I don't believe in my quarterback. I don't believe in my offense. And it looked terrible. It looked like they didn't need to be there. And, I mean, again, I know Nico's young, but this was his first game of being a sophomore in a sense. And he's had over a year to prepare and be ready. And the thing with Nico that is very alarming to me is I've not seen any improvement from the beginning of the season to this point. I mean, if anything, it's been downward from the hype that was there after the bowl game last year to where he finished. But with the talent and what was said about him coming in, you expect to see, a gradual. But if anything, he's been steady and dropped off a little.
I'm gonna counter you there. Nico, yeah, he is a freshman. He's got the most wins ever by a Tennessee freshman. So let's just keep that in mind. I mean,
but he's only the second freshman to ever start quarterback.
Yeah,
for
but
Tennessee.
the talent is there. I'm
I don't think it
keep
is.
faith in. Yeah, I'm gonna keep faith in him, man. I believe in my team.
The talent's there, but the coaching staff is garbage.
Nah, not necessarily. We'll make some changes. I think they'll make some changes. One thing that killed me about this game, Josh, I sent this video to Josh Heupel. He got asked if he's going to have any changes on special teams, defense, or offense, and he said, no, we're going to do everything the exact same. And then Smart, I thought for sure we was going to see something different. I mean, you've prepared for this. You need to have something that nobody's seen. It was literally, he was being serious. They had no changes. It's the exact same vanilla that we've seen all year.
Well,
I think that's just too easy.
I haven't seen tempo out of Heupel in the last 4 games. They played with no tempo. They've quit. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that goes back to the no confidence in Nico to be able to run the up-tempo offense, because there is a lot that goes into it. You get 2 plays per play call. You get 2 plays, the first play and the next play. And I don't know. I mean, the tempo was gone. But the big thing there for Tennessee, not having that senior leadership at linebacker position, and Dylan Sampson sitting on the sideline. And as of right now, him sitting on the sideline because he didn't want to go out there and get beat up any more than what it was. Because he was running up and down the sideline. He was looking fine, and then he'd look at the coaches and be like, I can't go. And, I mean, I just – and the thing was, if he was so hurt, why put him in the game at the end of the game with 3 minutes to go and give him 2 carries? If he was so hurt. If he was so hurt, I truly think Dylan Sampson gave up on this team. I hate to say that. I've been a big fan of him, but his demeanor, the way he was carrying himself, and him actually running up and down the sideline, looking fine, and actually came into the game at the end, tells me he was okay. He could have played that game. I think he got scared.
Maybe
I think he's if he was really hurt, he wouldn't have came in the game with 3 minutes to go.
Why put him in?
Why put him in 3 minutes ago? I think he's the clown for the draft. He's done.
We'll see. I hope that's not how he goes out. I hope he comes back for his senior season and try again.
He's not.
One thing I will say about this, I'm glad we did get the taste in our mouth of absolutely getting beat down. I think that will actually motivate this team moving into next year. We do return quite a few leaders on this team. We are losing a little bit. Everybody is. So, yeah, future looks bright. 10-2, 11-1 next year. Let's go, baby. Tennessee Balls. I'm still here, guys. Appreciate everyone tuning in last night, too, on the live. Just giving me a hard time about the Balls. I loved it. Loved every second of it. I take it off the chin like a champ. Let's go. Upcoming bowl games this week, Hess. Let's touch on this real quick.
Yeah.
We got some big bowl games this week. Christmas week.
Got a couple here. Nothing too major, but tomorrow or today at 11 a.m. It's Monday, so 11 a.m. You got Coastal Carolina versus UTSA. You got Northern Illinois and Fresno State at 2:30. Christmas Eve, you got South Florida versus San Jose State. Tune into that game, guys. San Jose State's got the number 1 receiver in the country. He leads every statistical category for a receiver. He's a potential first-round draft pick, so be sure to check into that one. Thursday, you have Pittsburgh versus Toledo, Rutgers versus Kansas State. Got Butch Jones versus Bowling Green at 9 p.m. on the 26th. Then Friday, you have Oklahoma versus Navy. So Bama fans tune in to see how a 6-6 school plays against a 9-3 Navy team. Georgia Tech plays Vandy on Friday. Texas Tech, Arkansas, Friday. Syracuse versus Washington State on Friday. Also another game Friday. Big one. This is probably the best bowl game. Could be Texas A&M versus USC. USC has lost a lot for transfer, but we'll see what happens. That's a late game Friday at 10:30. And then just to touch base on some big games Saturday. You got a couple early, but the big one is Iowa State, Miami, in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Incredible trophy. The trophy is actually a Pop-Tart toaster. And
Nice.
you got the Alamo Bowl Saturday, BYU versus Colorado. And then just throwing it out there, I know we're going to record before this one. We'll talk about it, but tune in, Alabama fans. Tuesday, December 31st, 12 p.m. noon kick, ESPN, Alabama versus Michigan.
Excited for that one.
Yep.
Go
That's all I got,
Wolverines.
man.
I said it.
Oof.
Thought I'd never say it.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
It's recorded.
I said it, guys. I said it. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Can't cheer for either. How about that?
Go Michigan.
Go refs.
Yeah.
Have a good ref game.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. We'll go over round 2 playoff teams next Monday morning. We'll get into that, dive a little bit more into that. Hess, anything else you wanted to add this episode other than a Merry Christmas to all our listeners?
No, man, that's it. That's all I got for them. Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you all have a safe, wonderful holiday. Spend time with your family. Again, this is the only episode we're doing this week, so enjoy time with your family. Hope everybody gets everything they wanted, and I, again, appreciate everybody who came by on our live. I appreciate all the donations we've received. Been great. You all are incredible. Thank you, guys. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll be back with you
Next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday.
See you in 1 week.
See you in 1 week, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
See ya.